What is up, guys, and welcome to Let the Play Develop, the podcast where if we're not giving you hot takes, we're giving you bad ones. This week we're coming at you with some weekly news, and then we got a very special episode with March Madness right around the corner. We're coming with some bracketology. You're going to get to see all of our mistakes on our brackets. We're going to have it on screen for you if you're a visual learner, but don't worry, if you're audio, we're going to break it down. And we won't break down every takes, that gets every pick that's kind of old, gets kind of boring. So we're going to give you our highlights, our upsets, and then we'll probably break it down from like the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and move on from there. But we have a very special guest with us, and I will swing it over to you, Chris, to tell us a little bit about yourself, but not too much. We only want the sports information.
What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Long. I am an ECU insider, so I am a sports writer for ECU Athletics, not to flex on everyone here. The teams that I follow and am a fan of for the NFL, I've been a huge Saints fan since 2009, 2010-ish. Baseball, I follow the Cubs. I wouldn't really say I'm a fan. I'm only a fan by nature. And then basketball, obviously support ECU, but I'm also a 76ers fan. So,
interesting fact. I'll see Chris wearing a certain hat for a sports team. You pull for them, and that's how I found out who he pulls for. Because he just has like a Cubs hat on one day. I'm like, what?
And then that Cubs hat does not leave my head for months.
Honestly,
He
good on
sleeps
you
in it.
for proudly claiming the Saints.
Yeah, of
Good on you.
course.
I mean, what's worse, proudly claiming the Saints or the Panthers?
You know
Like,
what? That's
I was gonna
also
say-
fair.
I've never been embarrassed to claim the Saints.
I was gonna say the
Who
only
dat?
thing worse, than being a Panthers fan in the NFC South would be Falcons. So
Oh,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
if anyone in this room was a Falcons fan, I would not have agreed to come on. That's just how much I hate
Imagine being
them.
a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
28 to 3.
That's a sad existence.
I mean, the only time you really made it, you didn't make it.
How do you fumble
Yeah.
Brett Favre and Michael Vick's entire careers?
Never less
Imagine.
28-3. We're just roasting nothing. Also, use Kyle Pitts. Sorry, just hot take. Use Kyle Pitts.
That's not a hot take. That's a popular take.
Yeah,
Use,
you're right.
use your
I'm
fourth
sorry.
overall pick.
That's a hot take for the Falcons franchise.
They don't want to hear that.
That's funny.
They're still hung up on Calvin Ridley right now.
Also, the most heartbreaking game I've ever watched in person was when Cincinnati defeated ECU, and Desmond Ridder was the quarterback of that team. So I just have extreme hatred in my heart for Desmond Ridder.
I mean, that's fair. It's
Listen,
fair.
Des, if you're out there and you hear that, ignore Chris. You are loved, and
We would
you are
love to have
special.
you.
You're
are
loved by everyone not named Chris Long.
You have made it to the NFL.
Barely. All
Double down.
right.
Anyway,
Hater talk's over.
great to have you on the podcast, Chris.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So first up this week, as always, we've got your weekly news segment. So starting with the NFL, this week's there's been a lot going on. First off, a couple franchise tags have happened. Lamar Jackson was officially franchise tagged by the Baltimore Ravens.
But what's different about that tag? It wasn't like it was a non-exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was not an exclusive franchise tag. So if I think it's either he can still negotiate with other teams,
But they have the right to him.
but I think they can match a salary.
It's like restricted
Oh,
free
it's like
agency.
restricted
They have the
free
right to
agency.
match.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Not
if
like
another
normal
team
franchise
signs
tag.
him,
Mm-hmm.
then they'll get 2 first-round picks.
Oh, dang. Okay.
They really set themselves up with that one. Who's not gonna try to
Snack
sign?
Lamar.
I-
So
Actually-
my question is, why don't more teams do that? Like, why don't they put draft tender on their free agents that they're tagging? Because yes, you can tag him and have him as an exclusive free agent, but why wouldn't you put like a first round tender on, say, like if you're the Saints, like a Juwan Johnson, like a tight end? Like no one's gonna sign him, so he's gonna be kind of forced to come back to you.
I mean,
Which
Wow, you're really not a player first type of person.
no mobility.
it's all about the
said
team.
As a management.
As management.
1 second though, while I think about this. Okay. Secondly, the Giants franchise tag. I'm pretty sure this one was also non-exclusive. Saquon Barkley. And they are trying to
Yeah, I
rework
heard
his
that.
deal
I
to
think
extend him.
that was a normal franchise tag.
That was exclusive.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Was Tony Pollard franchise tag last week?
Okay, maybe I got those backwards.
I think Tony Pollard was last week.
Okay,
Yeah, we talked about them last week.
heard.
That's all the franchise tag news. I think the relevant ones, anyways.
Wow. So everyone else was irrelevant. Got
Yes.
you.
Yikes.
It made it to the highest level of football. Yes, you were.
The XFL?
Okay. That's not the highest level of football.
Don't you ever disrespect the St. Louis Commanders like that ever again.
Take it back to
Just
the
the
name of
Washington
AJ McCarron.
I mean, if we should have relegation, bottom three NFL's team swapped with the XFL.
Honestly, I'm okay with that.
That's brilliant.
You.
I love that idea.
Somebody signed this man.
Nick Stevens like we should add mid-season cup tournaments.
It's a soccer.
This is the real football now.
Oh, because soccer does. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, moving on from the franchise tag, there's actually been a couple guys that have gotten their bags this week. Starting off with the Seahawks, they signed quarterback Geno Smith to a 3-year, $105 million contract extension with $40 million guaranteed.
I'm proud of Gino.
Good for him.
Working his way. Do you think he'll do anything? No, but I'm proud for Gino.
I mean, I'm not a believer in Geno personally. I think he had one good season, and that's going to get him his bag, just like Joe Flacco with the Ravens.
Well,
back
there's
in
a
the day.
difference between his good season and Gino's good season.
Yes.
Now, he
Very
was
good
carried
point.
by a great defense, but I mean, still.
Like $30 million a year for Geno Smith, who hadn't done much until this year.
Mm.
Okay, sorry, hadn't done anything until this year.
Some get cut by the
He did
Jets.
punch someone in the face in the locker room. He did that.
Oh yeah, my bad. Let me not disrespect his
Because
boxing
he
skills.
owed him $500 to go to some party for like a fundraiser, but he didn't go.
I like the confidence from the Seahawks. I'll say that.
They said, we have our man in the building, and they kept him. So
$30
if-
million man. Fair enough.
good for you, Seahawks. It's not going to get you a championship run, but good for you.
The next one hits close to home for you.
I was
Chris.
about to say it, Chris. I
Man.
want to get your take on this. The Saints signed quarterback Derek Carr to a 4-year, $150 million contract with $100 million guaranteed.
So those numbers are a little bit deceptive. Under the salary cap, that number isn't actually that big of a deal until you hit the 4th year, and there's a clause in there where he's able to be cut without a cap penalty in the 4th season. Mickey Loomis is a salary cap god. The general manager of the Saints, he is insane at keeping that team under the cap.
I was gonna say a lot of the Saints contracts are like backloaded, so it's really cool to see actually.
But
Yeah.
haven't y'all been in one of the worst salary cap situations like for the last 2 or 3 years?
And we have lost absolutely no one for it. It's been like the past 5 years.
So he's done great at navigating the mess
Yes,
and setting
it's
up
really
future
crazy.
success.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really crazy.
So-
So it's a mess right now.
I just have a fun little statistic that I wanted to break out about the Derek Carr signing because honestly, I was a little bit pessimistic about it until I read more on, Derek Carr's career. He's never had a top 20 defense his entire time in the league.
That makes sense.
I think that is pretty significant to mention. But through their first 9 seasons, I'm going to give you 2 players' numbers. I want you to tell me who they are. Player number 1, 35,045 passing yards.
That's a lot.
234 touchdowns to 123 interceptions, 64.8% completion for a 91.1 passer rating.
Is this a quarterback for the Saints?
It's a quarterback,
Oh, okay.
so maybe.
Okay.
And then player number 2, 35,222 passing yards, 217 touchdowns to 99 interceptions for 64.6% completion and a 91.8 passer rating.
one's Derek Carr. The other is.
It's not Drew. I don't know.
Were you about to say Drew Lock?
No.
No.
Drew
If he
Bledsoe.
would have said Drew Brees.
I was thinking Breeze, but
The first one is Drew Brees and the second one is Derek Carr. So
Oh,
through
wow.
their first 9
like a
seasons,
genius.
through their first 9 seasons, statistically, Derek Carr has had a better career than the
Did you
number
say the
2
second
all-time
one?
quarterback.
You say second one was Derek Carr?
Yes.
I was thinking because the second
Whoa.
one would have been better with the interceptions.
I'm not gonna-
We're gonna pass.
I'm not gonna stay on this long, but he slid that in there. He said the number 2 all-time quarterback.
He is
Like-
statistically.
Mm.
We're not gonna have this
We're not
argument.
gonna have- no, I just think
But
that
he is.
He was trying to slide that under the radar, and I knew it, so I wanted to point it out.
That's tough.
He's number 2 all-time statistically, and until someone passes him, until Mahomes eventually passes him, he will continue to be the number 2 all-time.
Dear God.
I don't want to disrespect. I
You're
love
disrespecting Peyton Manning.
What did Peyton Manning even do?
I'm just joking. I don't know.
I like.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Well, we don't need to go down this rabbit hole. It's too much.
Next, the Giants signed quarterback Daniel Jones to a 4-year, $160 million contract extension with $82 million guaranteed.
Danny Dimes, get your bag.
I like it too.
This makes me like the Derek Carr deal even that much better.
Mhm.
They paid less for
They
Derek
paid
Carr.
less for Derek Carr.
I mean, Daniel Jones is younger, but like I'd rather have Derek Carr.
Much as it pains my soul to see a successful Duke product, I'm happy for him.
Dear God.
I have one more thing to say about the Derek Carr thing. I'm sorry, and then I'll
The
drop
Derek
it.
Carr
I know you're
podcast.
good.
We talk about Derek Carr so much.
He's the only quarterback. Or sorry, the Saints are the only team that he took an interview with while he was still signed with the Raiders, and they agreed on compensation to have him traded to the Saints. And he was like, "No, I'm not waiving my no trade clause." And then they cut him, and he just signs with the Saints.
What a team player.
What
Well,
a
you know.
team player!
For his new team.
The official Raiders podcast, where we talk about ex-Raiders and current news.
Josh Jacobs. Oh wait, you said X. Never mind. It's
Well, I
franchise
said
tagged
in
him.
current news.
Oh, okay.
Two more. The Texans signed,
Robert Woods.
I think I meant Titans.
No, the Texans did sign
Oh,
Robert
was the
Woods.
Texans?
Yeah.
Cut him.
The Titans cut him.
I completely screwed this up in the show notes.
It's okay.
I put. Let me read you what I wrote. Texans signed wide receiver Robert Woods to a 2-year, $15.25 million contract after releasing him on February 22nd.
Then
They're like, "No, we don't want you." Actually,
So I was wrong on that last part. Congratulations to Robert Woods for signing with the Texans. Is that really congratulatory?
well, they have a chance to draft a good quarterback.
That's
They
fair.
brought in a receiver that might can make some plays for him. I think Robert Woods is better than he was on the Titans. He was just playing with Ryan Tannehill, which is a pain to anybody. I'm sorry, Ryan Tannehill. I'm glad you got your money, but I was at a Titans game when they played the Cardinals, and there was one fan beside me saying, "Oh, he got his bag and he's trashed the whole game." Pretty much, like we're
I mean,
paying
fair.
him. We're paying him like $20 million a year. Like, why are we doing this?
yeah. Once he left
I mean,
LA, he got his bag, and that was it. Anytime a receiver gets their bag, they have a drop off.
Oh, I was talking
It
about
has to happen.
Tannehill, but yeah.
Oh.
No, he was trashing Tannehill the whole game.
Well,
Jeez.
Fair enough.
it is Ryan Tannehill.
$10 million
What can you do?
of that $15.25 million is guaranteed.
So him and Brandon Cooks. You think Brandon Cooks is?
Oh yeah, that's
Brandon
a good
Cooks
duo.
wants
That's
to
honestly
leave.
not. Yeah,
If Brandon Cooks will play.
that's also fair.
Once you put C.J. Stroud into that.
Oh. So
Ah,
Bryce
that's-
Young goes number whatever else. Is that what you say?
I don't know.
We'll have to
I
wait and
don't
see.
see that
See.
happening.
And then the last new contract of the week, Commanders signed defensive tackle Daron Payne to a 4-year, $90 million contract extension with $60 million guaranteed.
Biggest defensive tackle contract in history, correct?
I
I believe so. I think I read that.
do not know, to be honest.
Okay.
Let's see if their defense can be healthy and play together. That'll be
You're
interesting.
paying. You're gonna have to pay so much to keep that defense together. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even
That
know if it's
defensive line's
possible.
disgusting.
Because next year Sweat's contract comes up, and is Jonathan Allen like?
I think
signs
Jonathan Allen's already
long-term?
signed a long. Hasn't
Okay.
he? I don't
I
actually
want to
know.
say so. I think he did last year.
But Sweat might be enough to tip the scales. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? It's just if they can all play together.
If you're investing that much in your defense and so little in your offense, like, yes, you can defense wins championships. I believe that. But if you can't score,
I mean, they already have their Super Bowl winning champion. Quarterback in Taylor Heineke. You don't believe that? You don't think he can get the job done?
I like Taylor Heineke a lot, but nah, I'm
Not
sorry.
Super Bowl.
Taylor Heineke's
Yeah.
ceiling is the best backup quarterback in the league.
He can't be the worst starter.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like best backup is a better.
I was gonna say
Like
best-
you'd rather be the sixth man of the year than the
Don't you-
worst fifth man,
Don't
right?
you ever disrespect Colt McCoy like that again?
Dear God. And then a couple various things. Odell Beckham Jr. held a workout Friday, March 10th for NFL teams to come look at them. The teams represented there were the Panthers, the Giants, the Patriots, Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, Bills, Chiefs, Vikings, Browns, and Ravens.
I would bet the farm that he's going to be either a 49er or a Bill next season.
Dear God.
I don't think he's going back to the Rams.
No.
I kind of like the Bills take. I kind of feel like that's
Mhm.
where He's looking.
I
don't
feel
know.
like that as well.
I think he could be disgusting on the Vikings, right beside Justin Jefferson.
Well,
I
they
think
don't.
he-
Besides
They don't have
Stephon
Adam.
Diggs, he would be disgusting.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
And that's a
have
better
Adam
quarterback
Thielen anymore.
situation.
I think he
True.
goes to the. Actually, I have no clue.
I like the
Go to
idea.
the Chiefs. The Bills aren't going to win a championship.
I like the idea of him on the Vikings, though. Actually, Now that
Career
they got rid of
chokers.
Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
I don't see him wanting to play with Kirk Cousins.
That's a good point.
No.
I think Kirk Cousins is a quarterback you end up with. You don't choose Kirk
No.
Cousins.
As long as it's 1 o'clock on a Sunday, you're goated. Like,
See,
but if it's
but-
any other time,
Fair.
then
That's not
Very
when the
fair.
playoffs
If they're
are
playing a
played.
Saturday game, you're screwed.
Or
Yeah.
prime time.
Also, OBJ is looking for a $20 million a year contract.
All right, good luck, buddy.
Yeah, have fun with that one.
I'll give you 5.5. Take it or leave it.
I have $3.
Stay away
That's
from the
a big
Panthers, please.
Awesome. Next, the Bears trade number 1 pick to the Carolina Panthers for the 9th, the 61st, and 61st pick in 2023 this year, a 2024 first round pick, and a 2025 second round pick, and DJ Moore.
And there kept being, there's a lot of ands there.
The best Carolina Panthers receiver since Steve Smith Sr.
That's very
What about Chosen
fair.
Anderson? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just playing. I'm
It's
obviously joking.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Who also got cut? No, we just
Um,
didn't
Who
do
else
that.
got cut this week?
I
Yeah.
don't-
Thank God.
I don't want to talk about this trade.
It's very bittersweet.
I just want to see in 5 years if they nailed it, and then I will give my take.
This will either be, I think I said earlier when we were at dinner, his floor has to be Josh Allen for this trade to have been worth it. Whoever they take.
You don't think a Lamar Jackson floor?
Well, I mean, that level, that
right.
caliber of quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has to be a home run or it's a strikeout.
I don't
There's-
think there's a Lamar Jackson in this class, is why I said Josh Allen.
True.
Yeah, this has to be a home run or it's a strikeout. Like you can't trade all that and it be an okay quarterback because then you're stuck in
I
the
just,
medium.
You're in
ground.
purgatory.
I
Yeah.
don't know why the Panthers, unless they negotiated their way down the list and the number 1 was the only one they could really go for, why do you need the number 1 overall pick in a draft that has 3 decent quarterbacks? in it?
Unless they already know who their guy is. Like if they
Yeah.
like foresee something that like in a CJ Stroud like that, they're like that has to be the guy. Like yeah, I don't know why.
If we're perpetuating hot takes and bad takes, I have either a hot take or a bad take. I don't think Bryce Young is that good. I think he is the 4th best quarterback in this class.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go that far, but
I think he's the
You
4th
lost
best
on that.
quarterback in that
Who do
class.
You
you
think
think
Will
is ahead of
Levis
him?
is better than him?
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it is CJ Stroud by a country mile. Anthony Richardson has the physical makeup and physicality, the abilities as a passer, as a runner, and then there is a mile gap behind him between 3 and the rest of the class.
Well, in the words of Will Levis, I got a cannon and I'm going to show it.
I would like to know who you think is 3rd, though.
I'm leaving that up for interpretation. It's not Bryce
Well,
Young.
interpretate.
Is
No,
it
thank
Spencer Rattler?
No, it's never going to be Spencer Rattler.
He's not even in the.
He said it's not him. It's never him.
I will
It
take
would not-
Johnny Hecker at my quarterback position.
Dear God.
Hey, he's the
Spencer
accurate
Rattler.
thrower,
That boy got
I'm
a
saying.
cannon of an arm, though.
I
He
like
can just
how
kick it to the team.
we're on like complete. I actually kind of like Bryce Young, so we will see. One of us will be really smart in 4 years, and one of us will be an idiot.
As a Panthers fan, Bryce Young is 5'10". He will not be able to see over our offensive line.
Baker, who was 6'1", couldn't.
I mean, I was
Exactly.
gonna
So
say-
we're going C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson, and everyone else shut up.
Plot twist. You draft Bryce Young
Stetson
first
Bennett,
round.
please God no.
I'm a Cardinals fan, so we have Kyler. So this is not hate towards Bryce Young, but you draft him first round, number 1. You spend the rest of the picks drafting the shortest lineman in the class.
So we're gonna have to tell our
Line
offensive
him
line
up.
to duck. Like,
Bryce Young to me feels very much so like Deshaun Kaiser. You guys remember him?
yeah.
He's the quarterback that I would put in that equivalent headspace. And honestly, I understand the hype around the Alabama quarterback. It's an appealing thing to look at. It's not for me. I'm spooked by it. I don't want any parts.
Hey, that's fair. I mean, if you have to nail it, so like I said, it has to be a home run or it's a strikeout. So I think C.J. Stroud's the
It's
guy that can do
C.J.
it.
Stroud or bust.
That,
Yeah.
that last Ohio State quarterback turned out pretty good.
And the one before him. And the one before him. Ohio
Are
State.
you talking about Barrett? 'Cause
Yes,
he
JT
didn't-
Barrett the fourth.
He did not turn out well.
Hey, he was on the Saints practice squad for 3 years. Don't you ever
Oh my god.
If our number 1 overall pick ends up on the Saints practice squad for 3 years, I will cry.
I would be sad.
Oh, good thing JT was not the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
And finally, we're recording this on Sunday, March 12th. This just went down a couple hours ago. Rams trade cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins for the 77th pick in this year's draft, and tight end Hunter Long. Get your 5 seconds of fame, bud.
Shout out, Coz. Just kidding. I'm not related.
Really?
I didn't see that coming.
But Jalen Ramsey on the Dolphins, I love it. I know it's maybe a year or two situation. Jalen could be one of those guys that he may not be your number one corner for that long, but I could see him being a top 2 corner on your depth chart for the next 5 years. Like, he's going to play. And, I mean, say worst comes to worst, like, he can play multiple positions. Like, once he gets older, move him to safety. Let him, like, play more zone coverage, just
'cause
loft out there.
I believe he likes playing zone coverage as a corner anyway, right? Doesn't he
Yeah.
play a lot of zone, I believe?
When he was on the Jaguars, I know he played a lot of man-to-man because he hyped that up a lot. But I haven't.
I think on the
watched
Rams
the
he's done a
tape.
lot of
Yeah.
zone.
Because
but I
there was
could
a
be
lot of
wrong.
players calling him out for not playing them one-on-one, but he stayed in his zone and didn't run across and
Right.
stick around with them and stuff. So
It's really a question of how far can he stretch his prime.
I
Mhm.
forgot he was on the Jaguars.
He was the
Oh,
best
the Rams.
cornerback in the
Yeah.
league on the
Yeah.
Jaguars.
I thought he was always on the Rams for some reason.
What?
No, they
I
traded a
completely
first-round
blocked
pick to
that
get him.
out of my mind.
I was
that
gonna
he
say
on the
that's why
Jaguars.
Jacksonville was so good.
Yeah,
They
I
almost made the Super Bowl that year.
Completely blocked that out of my
hey,
brain.
hey, that was all the quarterback. I'm just
Blake
kidding.
Bortles, yeah, you're right. Let me not disrespect.
Oh,
Blake.
here's an interesting question. If they, instead of Blake Bortles, if that Jaguars team had Kirk Cousins, are they still in the same position? I think the answer is yes.
That's so. Oh, that is so tough.
Yeah.
I think
There's
Blake
an
Bortles
argument
is
to be
just
made
Kirk
for
Cousins.
it.
I think Kirk Cousins is better, but then he hasn't proven anything like playoff stuff.
No,
So
here's my thing. Kirk Cousins is better at keeping that same level of mediocrity for a longer period of time than Blake Bortles was.
Kirk Cousins is the Chris Paul of football.
Blake.
Oh,
Okay, no, that's a bad take.
Wait,
But
That's a
I-
great
Well,
take.
I
What
was
do you
about to
It's
mean?
a bad take.
I kind of agree.
You said, wait, who's to Chris Paul?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is the
Okay,
Chris
when
Paul of football.
I heard that. I heard Blake Bortles. Like,
No.
my brain processed it wrong. But I still don't know that I'd agree with
The
that.
shock on my face was like that clicked immediately in my head. I was like, that actually makes a lot of
A
sense.
good game manager.
Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards of all time.
And Kirk Cousins is
Is
too.
not one
if
of the
you
greatest
take out
quarterbacks of all time.
postseason success.
Honestly, you got a point there.
I know.
If you take out
It kinda
postseason
makes sense.
success.
This is my show now, boys. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my gosh. But yeah, one of the things I saw was that Tyreek Hill, which first off, if y'all haven't seen that video of him running the 60-yard dash,
Yeah.
that was ridiculous.
Smoked them.
He was close to a world record. So
It was ridiculous.
That's all you need to know about that.
Did y'all see that the Twitter exchange between Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill?
That's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
said
practice is
we're-
about to be
well,
crazy.
He said we're all good as long as you don't tackle me like you did in the flag football game.
Nice.
He said that was my bad, man. I just had to get to lick him while I still could or something like that. That's a loose paraphrase, but pretty much that's
Yeah.
the exchange that happened.
They were also talking back and forth like, yo, practice is about to be insane. They're just going to be going at it every
Ooh.
single day.
I
That
would
is
love
Clash
to
of the
see
Titans.
that.
Hey, that's how you get better.
And you have them
So
both on
true.
your team.
Yeah.
And Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, that's it for the NFL. Only a couple things for the NBA this week. Not too much going on. Zion Williamson will miss at least 2 more weeks for the Pelicans. Very sad.
He won't be back this year.
Oh, really?
Ooh,
I don't think he will.
Interesting.
that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, could be.
This is a genuine question. I wonder how much it affects you when you're trying to rehab an injury like that or let it heal. When you're doing your rehab work, you're still putting that extra weight you have on you as pressure into rehab. Unless you're doing some like Dwight Howard type work where you cut off blood circulation and lift weights, or like that excludes some body weight or some water stuff. That's what I would have to stick Zion to water rehab, because I'm just afraid, like, he's muscular, but that weight on your joints, man. LeBron had to stop it too, because in Miami he was big. LeBron, he was bulky,
I mean,
but he knew that wasn't good for longevity. So I mean, that same type of deal.
So as someone who's had to do physical therapy with their joints, a lot of it is balance work.
Okay.
So like they will make you stand on one leg
Yeah.
as you do it.
So I mean, yeah. So that weight does play an impact on
Yeah.
like rehabbing. I feel like someone who it has that leaner, more trim body style can rehab faster than someone big as I am.
Definitely, yeah.
And then, lastly, for the news this week, Kevin Durant's expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks after spraining his ankle again during warm-ups before his first home game with the Suns versus the Thunder.
Welcome to the biggest KD hater in history, Chris Long.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
I hate Kevin Durant almost as much as I hate Desmond Ritter. I'm sorry, this makes me
so much.
this makes me sound like a horrible person.
He's
Like I
"Yeah,
just
injury,
hate
let's
everyone.
go."
Why do you hate Kevin Durant?
But, I will not get over what he did to Oklahoma City.
With the Warriors.
Oh, I'm a Warriors fan.
Just trying to help you out for the views.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I just threw it on the floor. Oops.
As a Warriors fan, I love what he did.
I bet you do, but it's the most scumbag thing anyone could have ever done. And if you see this with your burner account, Kevin Durant, I want you to respond.
What about
Because you're a
LeBron?
cupcake.
What
You're
about
still
LeBron
a
going to
cupcake.
Miami?
Hey, he's
That's a different
cupcake
situation.
With 3 rings.
I mean, I like that movie.
LeBron didn't go to the team that beat him.
Also, he had
Wait,
a
no.
3-1
Did he
lead.
get? Was it 2?
What?
Kevin
LeBron.
Durant. Was it 2
Oh.
rings?
Yes.
2 rings.
Yeah.
He's a cupcake with 2 rings.
He's a cupcake with 2 rings that will not get a third by
the
himself.
Warriors fan that doesn't even know how many rings Kevin Durant won with this team.
I forgot. I did the math wrong.
The Warriors fan.
I did the math wrong.
To be fair,
You know
to
I'm
be
not that
fair,
great at math.
I don't like the movie either. I probably dislike it as much as you, but no one wins the ring by themselves.
Very
Sure,
Yeah,
but
he
he's
had 3-1
definitely not
lead
going to
on
win
the
it with
Warriors,
Chris
though.
Paul now.
He's not
We
gonna
already
win.
established
What
that.
about
What you
Devin
mean
Booker
is-
and DeAndre Ayton
What about him?
and Chris Paul?
What about him?
Wait,
Dang.
yeah, what are you saying?
Do you think he makes up for like the 50 points that they lost to the Mavs in?
I completely forgot KD's
Very
on the
true.
Suns. I don't know why. I was like, that's a stacked team, and then you add KD to the mix.
They traded
It's
Kevin Durant for
scary.
Kevin Durant. Mikal Bridges is Kevin Durant.
He's really.
I was
He's
just dropping
adding
bomb after
so
bomb.
many hot takes.
I did send you that meme where it was like the Peter Parker from the first Spider-Man
Yeah.
with the glasses. It's like Kevin Durant and his blur. You put on the glass. Oh, yeah, it's Michael Bridges and his blur. You put on the glasses. It's Kevin Durant. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Jesus Christ.
But I
Mike-
mean, Mike Hill would never have experienced that potential in Phoenix.
No, and I'm glad he
Until
can now.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris Paul retired. So
Hey, really quickly, just because I want to be proven right, would you rather have DeAndre Ayton or Mikal Bridges right now?
Mikal Bridges, absolutely.
I don't remember. Did I say DeAndre Ayton?
I'm pretty sure you both had DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, we
above
did put
Mikal.
DeAndre Ayton above
Because
him.
we redid that draft, and I have
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges miles ahead of DeAndre Ayton.
I also think the Phoenix Suns are holding DeAndre back, and I don't know why.
No, I think DeAndre Ayton's a cupcake, just like Kevin Durant.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I said because he just plays offense and he's an inside center.
As an interior defender, he has no toughness and avoids all the talk.
That's why I said Brooke Lopez. I'd honestly rather have Brooke Lopez.
Steven, why are you still holding that rubber band?
rubber
Steven
He's
has
had
been
all
shooting me with this rubber
day.
band all day. Put it down.
It's now I'm just fidgeting with it. I
Dear
fidget.
God. Okay, that's fair. I also fidget.
Whoever gets a bad hot take, he starts.
There's so much going on.
Bang.
It's like, no,
Keep
stop
shooting,
it.
Chris.
Don't celebrate injuries.
Anyone else have anything to say about that? Okay, so that's all for your weekly news segment. Next, it's that time of the year again. March Madness is upon us. Let's get into bracketology.
There's copyright.
God.
Oh no,
Not even the right music. I love it.
not even the right sport.
I know.
It's the NFL.
Stop. No more seconds or we get the mark.
Fine.
I do
As
think-
you can see, for those listening without watching the visual, it's a sad day for me. I'm wearing my UNC hoodie, my North Carolina Tar Heel hoodie, and you can ask Steven. We were on the way. Me and him rode together back here to shoot this episode, and I shed a tear or two after watching the selection Sunday
Yeah, it was nothing but sadness in that car. He was listening to "See You Again" by.
by Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa, and I may have sang "Good for You" by Olivia Rodrigo at the top of my lungs.
It was great.
It was a time.
We had two different experiences riding back to this ride.
Yeah, these two were freaking probably high-fiving.
We were bumping.
We were listening to Dame Doll.
And then
Some
there's
Toby
Seth-
Nwigwe wrapped up in there.
There's
Yeah.
Seth literally like his hand on the window.
While it's raining. It was actually raining. That's the funny part.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we missed it. It's sad. Anyways, let's get into who's actually in the bracket.
Boo.
Maybe shouldn't be, but they're in it.
Real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the real UNC team for making the tournament. UNC Asheville,
Oh my
congratulations.
gosh.
The better UNC, yeah. That's what most say, I think.
Yeah, I do want to
mean-
make note real quick that Chapel Hill and ECU both didn't make the team and did not make the NIT. So they're basically the
You-
same level of skill.
Chapel Hill did make the NIT. They turned it down.
So they're not going.
No.
So they're both not going to the NIT.
ECU had no chance.
Look, y'all are all misspoken. UNC Asheville and Chapel Hill both respectable, but Wilmington, man, they're just another.
Shout out to the Seahawks.
The Seahawks, the real Seahawks.
It is
Dear
worth noting
God.
that my favorite team will also not be in the NIT, but that is because they're in the actual Big Dance.
All right.
Here he goes, a
Wolfpack
freaking
fans.
state fan.
No, honestly, I have to say, I only pick with Seth. Like, I'd have no beef. I only pick with Seth because he rubs it in my face every single year about UNC. So it's just something that has to happen, especially
Yeah,
this
they
year.
make it one time and he's gonna rub it in. It's fine, I understand.
It's due.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, it's fair. All right, so what we're gonna do for the bracketology segment, we're pretty much gonna, instead of just going through game by game, that's gonna take 3 million years. We're gonna go and talk about who our upsets are each round, and then we're just gonna go through. I think we said Sweet 16.
Sweet 16 onward, yeah.
Yeah, Sweet 16 onward, and we're gonna start from there and go through each game and what we have there. A lot of these we know nothing about because a lot of them they're in conferences that no one actually watches. So
Oh, wow. Wow.
I am a big fan of the Mid-East Athletic Conference. Come on, man. The MAC is incredible.
or here's the thing. I don't feel like there's a lot of people that watch every single college basketball game.
Yeah.
So like some of these are just everyone knows this. A lot of these are just all pure feeling.
Let me clarify. If Seth doesn't watch them or know about them, that means no one does. So that's why that was that distinction.
That's very true. Anyways,
So, I just this is my suggestion to go through it. We're gonna go South, Midwest, East, and West. Okay.
Mine's
good.
not broken up like that.
Are you on this?
Well, we'll
I'm on
go.
this.
Well, how does it go for yours?
It starts with Alabama.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
South.
South.
Midwest.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll shut up
South,
then.
East, Midwest, West, right?
Okay, we'll do South, East, Midwest, West.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through for the South, and if we have any upsets, we're gonna list them. Then we're gonna go through the mid. Then we'll do the Sweet 16 picks. Then same for Midwest, East, and West. Whatever order we'll go, we'll distinguish it for you.
Got it.
So starting with the South with Seth, do you have any upsets in that 64 round?
In the 64 round, I have 2 upsets. I have number 9 West Virginia beating number 8 Maryland,
Oh, I didn't even think of that as an upset. I also have that.
and I have number 12 Charleston upsetting number 5 San Diego State.
Okay, that's fair.
I also have that.
I have that as well.
Oh gosh.
I don't.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I have one upset this round, and it's kind of out of pocket.
Well, mine's more out of pocket.
All right.
What's
Y'all
yours?
want me to go next?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
The only upset I have is number 13 Furman overtaking number 4 Virginia. I don't believe in Virginia's ability to score, but I may just be reminiscing of a time past where they lost to a 16 seed. So
Oh, that's fair.
So what is
So
your
I have the
upset?
2 that Seth said. I didn't even think about West Virginia, but they are technically the lower seed. And then I also have NC State because
of course
I
you do.
have to. We haven't won anything since the 80s, so I have to believe that this is our year every single year. So I have NC State beating Creighton in the first round.
So outside of Charleston, I have NC State winning against Creighton as well.
Thank you.
This one is not like what I think might actually happen, but I just had a gut instinct and I had to go with it for no reason. Okay, I have Princeton beating Arizona.
Goodbye.
And
Oh
number 15
my.
over a 2.
There will be no
Um,
further questioning. We
So
I
just
don't
leave
take
that
any
where it
Ivy League
is.
schools ever.
In the words of the once great Boogie Cousins, this is a basketball game, not a spelling bee.
That's an all-time quote pull. Good job.
I love that quote.
They don't make it out after that, but that's just the first round knockout.
Hey, I like it. You gotta call it. Call
And
your
then
shots.
on the next round, I have my other two upsets. Or NC State does beat Baylor to continue on to the Sweet 16. And I think that might be it. Out of that, the rest of it's just top seeds.
Oh, I thought we meant only up until Sweet 16. If we're gonna keep going with the
Oh
upsets.
yeah, I was just keeping the cycle going.
Oh, I got you.
The-
So I also have College of Charleston being number 4 Virginia.
Hey,
Going to the Sweet 16 to play Alabama.
So after the number 13 seed Furman upsets Virginia, I do have them losing to San Diego State. But I will never believe in Baylor ever. And they might make it out of the round of 64, but they will not make it out of the round of 32 as Creighton will take them down.
I agree with you about Baylor, except obviously NC State took out Creighton, so now I have NC State taking out Baylor.
Okay, here's the one caveat. NC State is the only team that cannot beat Baylor.
Wow.
See, this is my philosophy. State can only beat teams better than them, so I feel like as soon as they... they have to run to a team that's worse than them, and then they'll knock them out.
That's fair.
So for my Sweet 16, I have Alabama, Virginia, NC State, Missouri on that. All right.
Oh, wait,
You can name yours if you'd like.
yeah, my Sweet 16 is Alabama, Charleston, Baylor, and Arizona.
Okay, I don't feel bad for the Princeton if you're bringing Charleston. Sweet 16.
Bro, Princeton over Okay.
But that's one game, not making it to the Sweet 16.
Bro, there's always a Cinderella team. I'm going with Charleston to be the
Okay,
Cinderella
I got
team.
NC State.
That's fair.
It's actually State, but Charleston's close. I'm just kidding.
How is that? Okay, I guess they are an 11th seed. I
Yeah,
guess
it's only
that's
one
fair.
seed down. I have Alabama, Virginia, NC State, Arizona.
I have Alabama, San Diego State, Creighton, and Arizona.
Okay, so does East come up next for y'all?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Okay, so I have a few upsets in the East. I think a small one, FAU over Memphis. Memphis has not impressed me with their play recently. A big upset, Kentucky is going to lose to Providence, so I see that happening. And then I'm just seeing if I have any more. No, that's it. Outside of those are my two major ones.
Okay, I'll go next. I have technically 3 upset games, but they're all by the same team.
Okay.
I have USC beating Michigan State. Number 10 beating number 7.
Oh, I have that too. I'm
I
sorry.
have them next beating number 2 Marquette. And then again beating number 3 Kansas State to make it to the Elite 8.
Wow,
So,
interesting.
I have USC winning 1 game, and I think that's all the upsets I have.
So this round for me is where it gets a little bit crazy. Number 13 Louisiana is going to beat number 4 Tennessee unless they can figure out their point guard situation. Their starting point guard went down during the SEC tournament for the season with an ACL injury.
Ugh.
So
Yeah.
they're kind of in a tough spot of figuring that out. I do think Louisiana will be able to pull out that game. I also have Providence over Kentucky. I just don't believe in Kentucky this year. They've been very inconsistent. And then I also have number 10 USC making a run, but eventually losing to Kansas State.
Yeah,
So do you have them beating Marquette?
Yes.
Ooh.
I have Providence making it all the way to the Sweet 16, and then the small upset, I have
Ooh.
Duke topping Tennessee. and
I have
then
that
Sweet 16
Duke
as
top
well.
in Tennessee as well.
If Tennessee is able to figure it out, I do think that they have the talent to beat Louisiana. I just don't think that they have enough time to figure it out.
I don't know. They might have Oral Roberts waiting for them right after that.
I actually misspoke. I also have Duke beating Tennessee.
Okay,
Yeah, but
it's not. It's
yeah.
like a toss-up.
Yeah.
There on
So
terms
you
of
have
talent.
USC in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, so my Sweet 16 for the East is Purdue, Duke, Kansas State, and USC.
Me too.
I have Purdue, Duke, Providence, and Marquette.
I have Purdue, Duke, Kansas State, and
That's a
Marquette.
lot of faith in Purdue and Duke right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We all
That's
know.
so true.
Yeah.
I said earlier today that I'm a fan of Purdue. I hope they make a run.
And I think Duke has a very easy path to the Sweet 16. If they do not make the Sweet 16, they let their team down. They let their fans down.
You have to remember, though, it's a bunch of freshmen and Jeremy Roach.
that
And
just won the ACC.
That's also fair.
They have to look. They have to beat a Tennessee team that lost their starting point guard.
They have been
And
hot
or
recently.
You're about to say something wild.
They
Chris.
have been hot recently. I'll give you that.
it's March. Anything can happen in
Very
March.
true.
Okay, that
That
wasn't
is
that
very-
wild.
I was gonna say that's
I was
the
actually
most
also
statement.
worried about what he was gonna say.
Are we going to Midwest now?
Yeah, we'll go to Midwest.
We are indeed.
Okay, let's check over these upsets.
This is where I
I
have a lot
have
of
a major
upsets.
one. Just because I had a good feeling again. I have Drake beating Miami,
Please stop.
which was a
Oh my!
I hate that.
just coming out of
I
nowhere.
don't like that at all.
And I think I have Penn State beating Texas A&M, and those are only two major upsets in the round of that 64.
Okay, I also have Penn State beating Texas A&M.
Okay.
I have Auburn, number 9 Auburn beating number 8 Iowa. I have Miami beating Indiana to go to the Sweet 16. I have Iowa State beating Xavier to go to the Sweet 16, and then past that. Do you want to go past that as well?
Well, we'll stop at
Yeah, we'll
16.
start
Okay,
with
got it,
16.
got it. So my Sweet 16, or do y'all want to say your upsets first?
Tonight.
I have. You can go. You can go ahead and name yours.
My Sweet 16 for the Midwest is Houston, Miami, Iowa State, and Texas.
Okay. All right, I agree with you on Iowa State and Texas. I have them making out Iowa State. I have them beating Xavier. Texas beating Penn State. This is where I get dicey. I have Houston losing to Auburn. I just think that Houston.
Ooh.
Bad beat.
I hated what I saw out of them in their championship tournament game today, and that was to a team that was lesser than them. I think we're gonna get something crazy, and Houston's gonna fall unexpectedly.
Fair. I mean, it's March Madness.
I think Houston will fall very expectedly where they fall every year, which is the Elite Eight. Anyway, my upsets for this round, I have Kent State over Indiana in the round of 64, and then I have Iowa State over Xavier to have the same Sweet 16 as Seth.
Let's go.
I forgot to mention my other two. I said Iowa State and Texas, but I have Auburn and Indiana.
So
in the
wait.
other one.
Do all three of you have Iowa State in your Sweet 16?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
I have, believe it or not, if you want to count Auburn beating Iowa in the first round upset, the 9 over the 8, I have that. But as far as upsets, I only really have one, and that's the Mississippi State / Pitt beating Iowa State in the very first round.
Please stop.
Oh my gosh.
I personally think they can get hot for one round and knock them out. I don't have them going any farther
Either
than
one
that.
of those teams.
Both of them are going to get hot.
I was gonna say I have an actual opinion on who will win, but
You
you know
think
what?
Pitt will win, don't you?
Huh?
You think Pitt will win, don't you?
Listen, this is the great news about there
There
being
it
two
is.
teams. Is I don't have to. If I'm right about either team, I am right. So
He said, let me take those off.
Win is a
You
win.
think Pitt is gonna win, don't you?
I do indeed think Pitt is gonna win
Okay.
and then beat Iowa State in the first round.
Actually, that's kind of brilliant because you're picking two teams to beat one team every time. That's kind of
So
smart.
that's my second.
No.
They still have the odds against
I
them.
know. I have a team that's not actually in the round of 64 yet, winning. So just consider
Yeah.
that. I only have them winning a game,
That's fair.
I'm seeing I pick 2 upsets or 3 upsets pretty consistently.
and then I do have Indiana losing in the next round to Miami. So my Sweet 16 is Houston, Miami, Xavier, Texas.
We have
Okay.
no faith in Indiana.
No, we don't.
No.
I have Indiana.
Oh, you had
We
Iowa
have no
State.
faith in Indiana.
No.
All right, so going on to the West, I have 2 upsets. I have VCU beating St. Mary's,
Ooh.
and then I have Boise State beating Northwestern. And then I'll go on to the next round. Let's see if there's any major upsets. I think everything from there is pretty clear. So I'll clear from there, leaving me with Kansas State, UConn, Gonzaga, and UCLA.
That is also my
Or
Sweet 16.
I said Kansas State, I think. No, it was Kansas, sorry.
Yeah. So that is also my Sweet 16. I have Kansas, UConn, Gonzaga, and UCLA. Up until the Sweet 16, I only have one upset, and it's Illinois beating number 8 Arkansas. Up until the Sweet 16 there, I think everything's is going to be kind of straightforward.
So I do not have any upsets in the round of 64.
Ooh.
I think that this is the toughest division. I like a bunch of teams here.
Yep.
My
I don't disagree.
my Sweet 16 is Kansas, UConn, TCU, and UCLA. But I will say real quick, if there's going to be a 16-1 upset, it will be Howard over Kansas.
Ooh.
Something about those HBCUs that I will always
That's
trust.
tough.
Interesting. Now, I do think it's worth noting my Sweet 16 is the exact same as yours. I have Kansas, UConn, TCU, and UCLA, but I do have Boise State beating Northwestern, and I just realized that I have another 9-8. I think I picked 3 9 seeds to beat the 8 seed.
I also picked 3 9 seeds to be the 8 seed.
Did you?
No faith
That's
in the
funny.
8 seed.
Yeah, all of them except for
I have
Memphis.
picked in 1 8 seed.
9-8s are just so easy to call an upset.
It is very
Right.
easy.
Yeah, because it's an either way kind of
Yeah.
game. Okay. All right. Well, we moving on to the Elite Eight.
I think so.
All right. So I'm going to start with the South. My Elite Eight boils down for the South is Virginia and Missouri. NC State loses their run against Missouri. Missouri moves on. Virginia upsets #1 Alabama to move on to the Elite Eight.
That is good for you. You're bold. I'll give you that.
See, for me, Missouri doesn't move past the round of 32. They lose to Arizona. Arizona will lose to Baylor in the Sweet 16, and my Elite Eight will be for the South will be Alabama versus Baylor.
That's not terrible.
In my Elite Eight, I have the battle of the A scripts as Arizona faces Alabama for who has the better A. Inevitably, Alabama wins.
Wow. I have to agree with you word for word. I have Alabama, Arizona, and Alabama winning. So.
Oh, are we going? Are you? Did you?
Well, I just wanted to agree with him because he said Alabama. So.
Oh, okay.
Did I mess that up?
No,
We're
it's
going to
fine.
move to the Final Four.
Oh, my bad.
I have Missouri and Virginia playing, and Virginia beats Missouri.
For the Final Four spot,
Yeah.
we have Alabama.
I'm gonna agree with them
Mhm.
too. I have Alabama in the South coming out of the South for the Final Four.
Okay, I like that take a lot. I've watched Virginia play, and this is a big if. But if their offense and defense are running correctly, they are a very hard team to break up. Like, they do have the system figured out. It's just, I think the biggest breakout, the only thing that can break their team is a superstar playing against them. If you have a bunch of players that aren't superstars, then they're gonna have a hard time getting around their screening on offense, on defense. When they're defending and on offense, they're gonna have a hard time scoring against that always tough Virginia defense.
And you know who has a superstar?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay, but he has to have a great game.
He has to have no charges pressed against him until then.
That-
All
I
right,
know they
moving
got-
on.
I know they got Brandon Miller, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He's not by the
He was cleared. He was cleared
For now.
He had plausible deniability. So
Is that with or without the pat down celebration?
anyway,
That was wild. I don't know why he did that. That was a dumb move.
well, on his behalf, he was doing that before that whole situation went down.
Which,
So-
I mean, if you're going
You
to
have
live
to
the
check
life, don't. Anyway.
Are we moving on to the East now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So
While we
It's
still
possible.
can.
I have Purdue continuing the steamroll up until they're going to continue until they meet Duke. Duke is going to beat Purdue and go on into the Elite Eight. And then I have Providence and Marquette. Providence continues their Cinderella run against Marquette, and we get a Duke versus Providence Elite Eight, and Duke moves on to the Final Four.
Ooh.
Did you say steamroll as a Boilermaker pun? Because it's Purdue.
I know that.
That was pretty great. I should have.
I was gonna say we immediately looked at each other like that was
pretty
nice.
good.
Journalism right there, bud. So my coming out of the Sweet 16, I have USC beating Kansas State to make it to the Elite Eight.
Okay.
And then I have Purdue beating Duke. So my Elite Eight will be for the East will be Purdue versus USC. This is where USC will fall, and Purdue will be in the Final Four.
Got you.
So I think that around the time of the Sweet 16 is when I realized that Caleb Williams plays football and not basketball. And I'm just kidding, by the way. I love Caleb Williams. But that I do have USC losing to Kansas State. I do have Purdue coming out of the division to face off against Alabama in the Final Four.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I actually have something from Nate's, and then something from yours, Chris. I have Duke beating Purdue. That one I went back and forth on a lot.
I had to think about it. So.
But I have Kansas State beating Marquette, so I have them going to the Elite Eight there. And then I actually have Kansas State winning that and meeting up with Alabama. So we'll see how that goes.
did not. I mean, I don't anticipate anyone else picking Providence to make it to the Elite Eight. That's just
fair.
my Cinderella story.
Hey, there's normally a Cinderella story somewhere, so.
I don't hate the Kansas State pick. I think they've been a powerhouse in the Big Ten this year. So
I also just love the fact that they were supposed to be bottom of their conference, and here they are.
Losing to Duke or beating Duke?
I have them beating Duke and making the Final Four.
That's kind of...
That's bold.
It is bold, but it's possible.
I love their story.
All right. So now we're moving on to the West. We are looking here. As I said, I have Kansas and UConn playing. Kansas is beating UConn, moving on to that spot. And then Gonzaga, UCLA is pulling it out against Gonzaga. So, and then in Kansas and the UCLA, I have UCLA moving on to the last Final Four slot.
I did not pick an upset here. I have Houston versus Texas. And
We're in the West. I'm sorry.
the West.
Yeah, he went on to the West.
Oops.
Spoiler.
We gotta go back to the Midwest.
Yeah, I had I had UConn over Kansas. I really like this year's UConn team. As I mentioned before, I'm an ECU insider, so Tristan Newton, the point guard for UConn, that's my boy. Transferred from the program last year. He's averaging a good amount. I just really love Tristan Newton, so that's a little bit of a homer pick. And then I have UCLA over UConn. I do think UCLA will make a run.
Okay.
I think it's very fair.
You want to go?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I actually sat on that Kansas UConn game for a while because Kansas has been good and they've beaten good teams, but I really felt UConn, but I ended up going with Kansas just because I have a couple 1 seeds fall already, so we'll go ahead and put Kansas in there. And I actually have TCU beating UCLA.
Whoa.
Maybe that is just off of pure sympathy of college football. It could be just pure sympathy, but I actually have TCU moving on to the Elite Eight and falling to Kansas, who makes it to the Final Four.
Now you know Desmond Bain doesn't play with them anymore, right?
Yeah, I do indeed. Like I said, I think that's just because I feel they just got destroyed, and I feel like they need something to make up for that.
Who did you say makes it to the Final Four?
I have Kansas in the Final Four.
Okay.
But I just have
Defending
TCU
national
beating UCLA.
champion.
Don't have to bring it up.
Had to throw that jab.
Anyways, so my Elite Eight, I have in the Sweet 16 I have Kansas beating UConn and I have UCLA beating Gonzaga. At the Elite Eight, I have the upset. I think UCLA takes out Kansas
Which I think
to
is
move
totally
on to the
fair.
Final Four.
Yes, sir.
Something about this UCLA team, man. They're scrappy, and as someone who watched them fall last year to UNC, to North Carolina in March Madness in the tournament, it was very close, and I was very worried the entire game because they have some studs on that team. Is it Jamie or is it Jaime or is it?
Someone with an A.
Jaquez.
Jamie Jaquez, yeah.
Jamie Jaquez.
There we go.
Kid's a stud.
Yes.
Kid's a stud.
I was gonna say also, I believe that was the 11 seed UCLA last year, if I'm not mistaken. So
Are you sure? I thought they were higher than that.
No, they were not.
I want to say they were 11.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're 11 seed. This is like they've been good all season long.
Exactly.
UCLA.
UCLA ran the Pac-12 this year.
Yeah.
So I really think they have a chance to make it to the Final Four here.
100%. I like Kansas a little bit more,
You're
but
making me double think my Final Four selections here.
So let's just go around real quick
We
and
didn't
just
do the
recap
Midwest.
our. We didn't.
No, we
Okay,
skipped
never
right around
mind.
Midwest.
All right, let's go to the Midwest then.
All right, Midwest. I got Auburn facing Indiana, and Indiana comes out of that to make it to that Elite Eight. Iowa State is going to fall to Texas. Texas and Indiana play. Texas comes out on top.
Okay.
Texas, your Final Four team?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you got?
I had the 1 and the 2 there. As I mentioned previously, Houston versus Texas. I think we see the battle of the big state. I will say, horns down. If you're watching this, you're a Texas fan. Horns down.
Oh, snap.
He's saying that to one particular person if they come across this guy.
Maybe. But I'm just very salty because they beat ECU in the Super Regionals last year to go to the College World Series.
That
But
was a tough fought-out battle.
that was best game I've ever been to. But anyway, Houston's going to edge out. The American Athletic Conference is undefeated. What can I say? Power 6.
Okay.
So, hey.
So
Don't laugh.
The ACC's been down, but like, that's why it's
This
still up.
Chill.
this brings me to a Final Four where I get to watch Virginia rematch Duke, and then I see Texas and UCLA play. Now on that Virginia Duke matchup, huh?
Can they have their turn?
I honestly, your takes are irrelevant. Your takes are irrelevant. Whatever you have there, it doesn't matter. I don't want y'all to speak.
It was just the way me and Steven immediately just like.
Look, we've gone through so many of these. I'm starting to like lose
He
my
doesn't know
mental
where we are.
stability.
It's been a long day,
I
okay?
The listeners have no idea who has what.
I don't
or-
even know who has what anymore.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna recap it. Just
They're
going
gonna be able to see it. Watch it on YouTube. You'll be able to visualize.
Right,
everything.
Absolutely.
And it's very important you look at mine because I did actually hear an alert that I had the first ever perfect bracket. So, no, I'm just kidding. I was playing.
God.
As of
Okay.
right now, yes.
So, your Final Four.
So games play your brackets
for the
I was gonna
Midwest.
say I had
Go ahead. Sorry.
just recap the Elite Eight and the Final Four. I have Houston beating Miami to make it to the Elite Eight, and I have Texas beating Xavier to make it to the Elite Eight, and then I have the same matchup, but I have Horns up. I have Texas winning over Houston.
Oh man.
So that'll be a fun game to watch. I hope that happens.
I
By
do
the
too.
way, Houston, Texas. I have
Alright.
Texas.
I have an upset of the tournament, boys.
Oh,
I have Iowa State beating Texas to make it to the Elite Eight.
I like it.
I mean, isn't Princeton making the Sweet 16 more of an upset than Iowa State over Texas?
No, but
No,
I'm
Princeton
saying
doesn't make the Swiss team. They
I
make
get
the
you.
round of 32.
Oh, okay.
I think
okay.
Texas chokes here, where Iowa State comes out looking like some dogs.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. I like that.
And then that's where Iowa State will fall to Houston, with Houston going to the Final Four.
Hey, Ohio State was close to making this tournament.
So
Well done.
let's go around and recap our Final Fours just for the listeners,
Yeah, that's a good
so
idea.
they can
So start with you,
have
Nate.
a reminder of who has
My
who.
name is Nate. Everyone in the class, I have a Virginia versus Duke and Texas versus UCLA Final Four matchup.
Well, I have one of those people.
Can you name their rankings as well, real quick?
Texas is second, UCLA is second as well. Virginia's 4, Duke is 5.
Okay.
All right, I have number 1 Alabama facing off against number 1 Purdue, and then number 1 Houston facing off against number 2 UCLA.
Ooh.
Me and Chris have the exact same Final Four.
That's what I'm talking
I have
about.
number 1 Alabama facing number 1 Purdue and number 1 Houston facing number 2 UCLA.
I have number 1 Alabama. Everything else is different. I have number 3 Kansas State in the Final Four. I have number 2 Texas and then number 1 Kansas. So Kansas is running the show right now.
Wow.
Actually,
You
the
love
whole
Kansas.
I was gonna say that's like the whole. That's the same area, Alabama. I mean, roughly.
All right, so who's each of our championships?
All right, here we go. I have Duke and Texas. It's kind of a weird matchup, and part of me wishes I am going the UCLA route, but I'm going to stick with my gut on Texas. And I just want, I am not a Duke fan. And by the way, I'm a UNC fan, so this is hard for me to bite this bullet. But I think they got a young, scrappy team, and same for UCLA and Texas. But
Is
I
this your
have-
bracket?
I have Duke winning the national championship.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, as a UNC fan,
I just looked over and saw it. Oh my.
Nate.
I have them winning 63 to 57
Over. Did you
over
say Texas?
Texas.
I mean,
I hate that.
I love
so
silence in the
much.
room.
If they lose to Oral Roberts in the first round,
I don't see Duke not making the Sweet 16. Now,
Nate.
anything past that is fair game, but I think they can make it to the Sweet 16.
If they lose to Oral Robertson, will you get a tattoo of the Blue Devil on your butt cheek?
I think you have to.
Will you make that commitment for the
I'm not making
podcast?
that commitment right now, right here.
Why not?
I think you have to.
Life's all about the big bets.
No, I'm good.
So you don't believe in your
God.
national champion.
I don't believe in any of my bracket. I'm just stating this.
okay, I'll go next. So, I have in the championship game, I have Alabama beating Purdue to go to the championship, and then I have Houston beating UCLA. I think UCLA falls to Houston here.
So you have
Alright,
the
so-
double number 1?
So I have the double number 1, and then I have Houston taking down Alabama in the championship game. I think they're gonna do it this year.
In Houston,
Chris
Texas.
completely disagrees with me, but I think they do it this year.
I didn't even realize you had Duke winning.
I didn't either until I looked over. I said, wait a minute, that says Duke. I was like, no.
So I do like that you have, Seth, you have Houston winning in Houston. I don't know if that adds to anything, but like,
I didn't think about that. They're playing in their hometown.
Yeah.
I really like my pick now.
He's like, I'm doubling down now. I think Houston's
I'm
going to win by
doubling.
more.
Houston's going to win. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
So do you
I
wanna
have
pick yours first?
Houston winning in Houston. I like my pick. I'm going with it. Of yours, Chris.
I just lost my bracket. Give me 1 second.
I wish y'all could go ahead, dude.
I don't believe the hometown heroes will make it all the way.
I don't either.
First off, let's make our way back to the Final Four. All right, in the battle of the SEC, I have the Crimson Tide making their first national championship of the 21st century. I don't know if that's true or not, but that sounds right. Against them. Okay, listen. I know the University of
God.
Houston very well. I have followed the conference, the American Athletic, for a long time. God will not let a team from the American Athletic Conference hold a national championship. First, it was Cincinnati when they made the college football playoffs. And it's been Houston every year in basketball. They've made the Elite Eight, the Elite Eight, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, the Elite Eight, the Final Four. They cannot win a national championship to save their lives. So for that reason, I'm taking the beast of the Pac-12, UCLA, and the number 2 seed, University of California at Los Angeles, will take down the number 1 Alabama in a 78-73 victory.
Okay.
Wait, you think UCLA wins it?
I
I
do.
think that's very fair. I think UCLA's got a good shot, even though I have them losing. But
Okay.
Now, that being said, if they lose in the first round, I will get a tattoo of the Bruin on my butt cheek.
Oh, good.
Okay, here's the thing. I got so confused because just a second ago he said that UConn was winning the entire thing.
Yeah, I
before we
changed my
started
mind.
shooting.
He looked through it. Alright, so
I had that picked up.
I do
Thank
too.
you.
So I have, like I said, I have Alabama, Kansas State, and Texas, Kansas. Alabama, you have football, so that's why I have to give Kansas State. I love their story. They make the national championship, and they take on number 2 Texas. And I believe close, not quite Houston, but I believe Texas will be cutting down the nets in Houston, Texas.
Wow.
And Texas is my favorite to win. You can say what you want.
Beating who again?
Huh?
Who are they beating again?
I have them beating Kansas State.
Best thing since Kevin
Wow.
Durant.
I hate that storyline,
Wow.
but it's okay.
I was gonna say, to me, Texas has so much depth. They have literally 6 starters on their team. So.
I think it has to do with Texas's colorway. That kind of just kind of like.
That's fair. They have a lot. You can name anyone. They have a lot of talent.
I know their point guard's really good. I think it's
Tyrell Terry.
No. Dear God.
Tyler Appleby? I'm just kidding.
It's something.
Just keep not helping.
I don't
him.
remember,
No,
but
we're not
he,
helping you.
whoever it is, he's really good.
Tyus Jones.
No.
Yeah,
Dear God.
we're not helping you at all. You have to figure it out
Not even
yourself.
a little bit.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Anyway, I really like Texas, so that's my favorite to win.
Okay. Well, that's our tournaments for you.
Let us know what you disagree with.
Houston, Texas,
Yep.
UCLA,
Duke.
and Duke.
That's a varied Final Four.
No,
Very much
actually,
so.
for
I'm
real.
glad we didn't have the same one.
Huh. Well, that was interesting, boys.
You
Hey,
know?
you can let us know what we got wrong, and don't wait till after the tournament like everyone will. So like, Houston lost in the Sweet 16. How did you not see that coming?
Oh, don't worry, guys. I did.
Well, before we go, I want to thank you guys for sticking with us through our most unhinged episode we've recorded yet.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Absolutely,
yeah.
it was great to have you, Chris.
I wasn't invited, actually. I asked to come
Showed
on.
up.
Actually, he didn't even ask. He just climbed through the window, and here he is.
On the second story of the
Yep.
building.
Dear
He was
God.
dedicated.
All right, so if you haven't yet, we're gonna bug you about it again. Go and follow us on our Instagram at Let the Play Develop Pod, and on TikTok at Let the Play Develop Pod. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music or any of your streaming services, go check us out on YouTube. Subscribe over there. You can get the visual. I think it's the better option, but
Definitely.
you can also see what our interactions are in person with each other. Also, if you're listening on or watching on YouTube, yo, what's up? Go check us out on all the streaming services and everything. Give us a follow. And what the heck? Anyways, y'all have anything else to say?
I think I'm good.
God bless America.
That's all for this week. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.